In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to use Cricut Design Space, which is the software or application that you need to communicate with your Cricut machine. When you open Cricut Design Space on your computer, you will see the home page, which will look something like this. To get started, I'm actually going to jump into the Design Space itself by clicking New Project. So here we have the canvas, or what is also referred to as the Design Space. This is divided into 5 main components or sections: Canvas, Edit Bar, the Design Panel, the Layers Panel, and the Header. Let's go over each of these. The canvas is where you will be creating your project. Your elements and objects that are part of your design will be displayed on the canvas. The canvas comes with a default full grid that you can interchange using this square that is located right here on the top left corner of the canvas. So if I click on it, you can go from no grid to partial grid to full grid. In the canvas, you also have the option to zoom in and out using the zoom option that is located at the bottom left corner. Let's now talk about the edit bar. The edit bar becomes active when you select an object or multiple objects in the canvas. Right now, I'm going to show you how the edit bar for images or shapes work. Here I have a heart that I added to the canvas. As you can see, when I click on it, the edit bar becomes active. You have multiple options here, including go back. Also have the option of line type, which basically tells the Cricut which type of project you're trying to make. I have a Cricut Maker, so if I click down here in the drop down menu, you can see that I have the option to draw, to score, to engrave, to deboss, to use the wavy blade, use the perforation blade. If I'm doing fold transfer, you can actually select which type of tip you're using, the fine, medium, or the bold. If you select as line type cut, you have the option to change the color. When you choose the material color, it's just for you to allow you to visually see how your designs are going to look. You also have the advanced option here that you can expand to select other colors. If you select draw, you have a similar option. You can click in the square right here and you will see that you can select different colors. You also see that the shape or the line of the heart changed. If I go back here, you can also see that I can select what type of pen or marker I'm going to be using. Now I'm going to select score. You can see that I don't have any options there. If I select foil, I will have options to select attributes for this line type. And basically I can change the line color. So I'm going to go back to cut. I'm going to select the image to activate the edit bar, and then I'm going to select cut. As you can see, there's another option here for fill. The fill option is used to select print if you are doing a print then cut project. Basically, if I click there, I have the option to select what type of color I want to print with my printer, and then the Cricut is going to cut that design. So for instance, if I select this color, I can print it like this in my printer and then cut the design in my Cricut Maker. You also have the advanced option where you can select other colors, and you also have here the option to select a pattern. A pattern basically allows you to select different designs for your print project. So I have a lot of different patterns that I've uploaded, but Cricut Design Space also have patterns that you can use. You can edit the pattern to make it look different, and I have another video talking about that. But to get you started, you don't really use patterns as much. So I will not be covering that in this video so you don't get overwhelmed with information. So I'm going to go ahead and go back, and now I'm going to select my image again, or my shape, to be able to activate or make active the edit bar. As you can see, I can deselect everything on my canvas. So if I have another heart, for instance, and I want to select all, I can click here. If I want to deselect all, I can click there as well. If you want to edit, you can click the option here, which is cut and copy, but basically you can use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, and there are other shortcuts that you can use as well. The align option becomes active when you have multiple things selected. It is a little bit more advanced, but I just wanted to show you very quickly that you can select all, and then you have multiple options to align. For instance, if I want to center the hearts through an imaginary horizontal line, I can click on center vertically, and now they are aligned along that horizontal imaginary line. You also have the option to flip, basically flip horizontally or vertically. And you can also adjust the dimensions of your design. So for instance, I can adjust the width here. You can actually input numbers in there if you wanted to. Here we have this lock, which means lock proportions. That means that if you change the width, the height is going to change proportionally. If I remove that lock, basically what's going to happen is that the height is not going to change when I change the width, and that's just kind of going to distort your image a little bit. But it all depends on what you're trying to do. For instance, if you try to design a rectangle using a square, then you will unlock this block so that you can modify the height or the width without changing the other dimension. You can also rotate using this option right here, or change the position, which basically means you change the position of your object on the canvas. You can do a few things too, similar to what you can do in the edit bar, but you can do them right inside the canvas. So as you can see, I'm actually going to click on this, and I have the option to delete this. I can show you that you can also rotate through here. Then you can adjust the size here, which you can also do here as I showed earlier, and then you can unlock the proportions using that lock right there. The design panel is located on the left. You have 7 different options that you can use in this panel. Let's go over each of them. You have the option of New, Templates, Projects, Images, Text, Shapes, and Upload. The New option is used to clean the canvas. If you have been working on a design and you're not happy with it, you can go ahead and click on New, and it will delete everything that you have been working on. You do not have to click on New every time you're working on a new project or starting a new project and you have a clean canvas. It is only used to quickly delete everything that you have been working on. The Templates option is used to add templates. As you can see, there are a variety of templates that you can use to help you come up with your designs. So basically, you can select a t-shirt template, for example, and it will be added to your canvas. The templates are for reference only and will not be saved with your projects. The templates can actually be customized a little bit further. You can select whether you want a women's short sleeve, toddler, and then you can also select the size that you want to work with. You also have the option to change the color. So let's say you are designing a black t-shirt, you can actually select that color. And as you can see, the canvas grid is kind of annoying when you work with with templates. So that's why it's important to remember that you can change the canvas grid using this square on the top left corner of the canvas. Let's now talk about projects. So as you can see, we have different projects here on the screen, and we have the option to select by category. So if you're trying to work on a Christmas project or a Halloween project, then you probably can get some inspiration from this project section to see what other people have made, and you have the option to make those exact designs. So you don't have to create your own, you can simply use someone else's design. So if I click on this design, for example, for Halloween, you can see that there's a description, the materials that you will need, and then everything else that you're going to need. As you can see, this project has a price of $1.99, or you can get it for free if you have the Cricut Access membership. So Cricut Access is basically a membership that you can use, and it's that little A right there. It says that it's part of Cricut Access, and it means that if you have the membership, you don't have to pay for anything that has the letter A. So in this case, I wouldn't have to pay $1.99 if I had Cricut Access. Let's say that you like this design and you want to make it, you can have the option to make it as is, or you have the option to customize here. If I click on images, you will see that I have the option to select different images or search for them. So you have the option to search for something that you're looking for, let's say a specific character like Harry Potter or something like that, or you can also search for themes like Christmas, Halloween. You also have the option to select the themes. In the highlighted category section, you can see that there are images recently added, and then you have options for free images that you can use from Cricut Access, and you will not have to pay for them if you don't have the membership. You can also browse all images by clicking here. You can search for your images again, and you also have a filter option that you can use. This filter has a lot of different options, and you can expand them using the plus sign right there. So if you're looking for cards, phrases, or 3D images, then you can just simply click on these filters. Images are used to access images that are available within Cricut Design Space. These are not my images. These are all Cricut Design Space images, and not all of them are part of Cricut Access. As you can see, this image right here does not have a letter A, which means that you are going to have to pay for it even if you have Cricut Access. And this is especially true if you are doing any type of famous brands like Disney, Marvel, Sanrio, Harry Potter, and things like that. So you have to pay for those images. So you have a lot of different options, and you have to pay for all of these special brand images. Harry Potter is not listed here for some reason. They added it last year. I'm not sure if they removed them, but we can search in here to see if they have anything for Harry Potter. And they do have a few images in here. So this just shows you that you don't have to make your own images. You don't have to download images online, you can access images that are available right within Cricut Design Space. So you have multiple options, and this is one of them. Once you find the design that you like, let's say I'm browsing and I like this design, I'll go ahead and click on it, and as you can see, it shows up here, and then you can go ahead and click on Insert Images. So it says Insert Images because if you like multiple images and you select them, it will add all of them. So let's say you don't like one of them anymore and you want to unselect them, you can just click on this X and then just go ahead and insert this image. The text option is used to add text to your canvas. If you click on it, you will see that you have the option to add text right here. For instance, Andreina's Crafts, I can do so with the text. It's very simple, very similar to PowerPoint, so there's not much to it. And I wanted to show you that when you add text, I remember that I mentioned at the beginning that the edit bar is going to change when you have text or images. So I added text, and now there's an additional row that I could use to edit the text. It has the option for you to change the font. So you have different fonts that you can select. If you have the Cricut Access membership, you can use any of the fonts with the letter A without having to pay. There are other fonts that you have to pay no matter if you have the membership. You can also access the fonts that you have downloaded using the system option, and that will be a quicker way for you to find your fonts. You can also go ahead and select the style, so you can just change it to italic, for example. You can change the font size, but you can also do that using this interactive function here on the canvas. You can adjust the letter spacing. You can adjust the line space if you have multiple lines of text. You can also change the alignment like you would do in Word or PowerPoint. And then you also have the option to change the curvature of your letters. And then you have a more advanced option, which I'm not going to cover in this video. Shapes is used to add shapes to your design. Cricut Design Space has a few shapes that you can add to create your designs. For example, you have a square, circle, triangle, a diamond, a star, or a heart. You also have a score line, and you can see that the line type here is selected as score. So it's immediately selected there, and that tells the machine that it has to use the scoring stylus or the scoring wheel. Lastly, we have the upload option. Remember that I mentioned earlier that to create designs in Cricut Design Space, you have multiple options. You can use the images to bring in images that you like that are within Cricut. It could be Cricut Access or not Cricut Access. And then you also have the option to upload designs. In the upload section, when you click on it, you can see that you have two options. You can upload an image or you can upload a pattern. Remember earlier I mentioned that you have the option to use patterns to create your print then cut project. So I'm going to focus here on the images. You can upload images that are of any of these types, and as you can see, you see the SVG file, which it might be a new word for you. But SVG files are very common to use for cut files, so you're gonna be seeing it a lot in this world of Cricut. So if you want to upload your image, you can go ahead and click here. But before I do that, I want to show you that Cricut Design Space is listing my recently uploaded images that are right here, and I can access them very quickly. You can also have the options to view all, which will take me to kind of like the images section, but the images that I have uploaded. So let me go ahead and click on the upload image, and as you can see, I can click on browse. You can simply select the image that you want to add to your canvas, for example this image right here, and you will click it. You have a few features here to upload your images. If you have a simple image, you can click here, but this is a little bit more complex, but I just wanted to show you that. Let's say I click simple. Let me show you what happens when I click continue. You have the option to sort of edit this image. I don't have to do anything, so I'm just going to click continue, and as you can see, I want it as a print and cut because a cut image, it's not made for a cut image. It's not going to be really good. So I'm going to select print and cut, and then you need to give a name and a tag. It's recommended so you can find them. And then once you're done, you can click save, and it will show right here. So it's listed here, and let's say you want to use it now on a project, you will click on it, and then you'll insert image. You will notice that here the fill option says print, and that's because I uploaded an image that I saved as a print then cut image. So sometimes when you add images from Cricut Design Space or that you uploaded, they will actually come in already pre-made as a cut image, print then cut, as a draw image, so you don't have to change that. Let me show you very quickly what I'm saying. Let's say that I want to use a draw only image. I'll click on the filter to help me out, do it a little bit faster. And as you can see, when I click, let's say I'm going to click on this one, and I click insert images, you will see that it comes with the draw option already selected. The layers panel is located on the right side of your screen. It's actually listing all the layers in your design. I have a heart in my canvas and it's listed right here on the layers panel. If I add a text, you can see how the text is now listed as a layer on the layers panel. So when I select a layer, I can click on it on my canvas, or I can click on it on the layers panel. The order of the layers matter. Right now I have the text on top of the heart, which means that if they are overlapping, the text will be up front and the image will be in the back. If you want to change the order, you can simply drag and drop. If I add another layer, for example, you will see that now I have the diamond at the top, which will cover everything else. If I right click to send to back, it will send it to the very bottom of the list. Let me just bring it back, and I do move backward, it will just move it one layer down. You can also use the option to arrange to change the position of your layers, but the fastest way in my opinion is to drag and drop. So now let's suppose that I have this design and these are two independent layers. So the machine is going to cut the heart and it's gonna cut the shape of the state of Texas. So I'm going to change the color, and I wanted to show you that when you click, let's say that I click select all, I have a few functions up here that I can use. If I use the option to group, basically the layers are now part of the group. So when you group things together, they work together. So right here, I can just minimize the group, I can hide the entire group, but I also have the option to hide the independent layers. If you want to ungroup, you can simply click ungroup. If you want to duplicate a layer, let me ungroup this, and let's say I want to add another heart, you can duplicate it right there. If you want to delete a layer, you can simply do that, or you can delete it using this option right here. Let's now go over the header. The header is used to access my projects like I mentioned earlier. Save, put the file name here, and then click save. You can see I haven't given this a name, so it shows as on title. Right here you can select which machine you will be working, and then you have the option to make it once you're ready to make it. I deleted the heart, and now let's suppose that I'm going to make this design. I'm going to change the color so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to click on make it. In this screen, I'll have the Cricut mat. Right here, you can see that the material needs to be placed in this area, so within these limits. It also shows you here that it's going to cut the project. If it was draw, then it will show draw in here. And then you can also change the material size, which basically means changing your mat size. So if I change that, then my mat size will change. You have also the option here to mirror your image, which basically will be used when you are placing your materials upside down, like we do with iron-on or HTV or pouch leather. So you will click the mirror option. You also have the option here to make your number of copies and click apply. So as you can see now, it's going to make all those cuts. For some reason it changed to the 12 by 12 mat, but you can change it back so that they will all fit in one mat. Otherwise, they're not going to fit, and you will just have to load one and then clean it up and then load the second one. If you want to move the location of your design, you can. Like for instance, let's say I want to place it here, you can do that. Or if you just want to leave it the exact way that the machine located it, then that's fine too. So now if I click continue, I can see the screen where you can actually select your material. For instance, I want to work with vinyl, I will just select it and then it will tell me what blade to use. If I want to go back and change my material, I can click back in here because I wanted to actually show you that you can, let's say that your material is not listed here, you can click on browse all materials and it will take you to this list and go to a specific category. For instance, if you want to work with a specific vinyl, so it's easier for you to find it. You also have the option to mark a favorite if you want to be able to find a material that you use fairly frequently. So you have the option to do that as well. And basically, once you click on the star, you will see your material listed here under favorites. So there's one more option here that says pressure. Sometimes used if you're not getting a good cut, but I really don't recommend changing the pressure. I changed the pressure and it just damaged my mat. So just be aware that it needs some experimentation. I do not recommend changing the pressure. If you want to improve your cuts, you can do multiple passes. And I have other videos explaining, but if you for some reason still get cuts that are not good, then you may need to replace your blade. and I have all of that in my blog post. You can find also my videos where I talk about the blades, and I also talk about the blade replacements. Now once I'm ready to go ahead and load my material, simply I just have to go to my Cricut machine and then make sure I use the correct blade. And you can check my video about the Cricut blades, and simply you just load your mat with your material on it, and then you just go ahead and do your cut. So that is it for this video. I hope that you found it very useful. You can download the tutorial for this video in a PDF format, and I'm gonna leave the link below in the description so you can download the tutorial.